So we now know why a cellar should be at 12 degrees. So my question to you is actually, what cellar temperature is your cellar running at? Is it 12 degrees? Because actually what I'm really interested in, ladies and gentlemen, is not so much the environment, but actually is what temperature is my beer. So how do I know what temperature my beer is? Well, simply just put a glass of water on top of a keg or a cask, leave it overnight and take the temperature of that glass of water. If it is 12 degrees, happy days. If it's not, then we're going to ask ourselves the question why. Why is it not 12 degrees? Now, I'm sure most of you will realise that cold air is heavy, and one of the key reasons why cellars actually are unable to hold 12 degrees is because they've got large gaps between the floor and the door, and so the cold air is allowed to flow out. Or it might be holes in the wall where the pythons go, or it may be another door where a kitchen or a hot corridor is, and so therefore the air is flowing out, but then it's also, as it creates a small vacuum in here, it is also drawing in the warm air. So the warm air will now start to mix, and so that's why the cellar cooling machines start to work very hard. The reason why is because they're actually trying to make sure they get to 12 degrees. Once they get to 12 degrees, they switch off, or certainly the condenser will switch off. The evaporator, the fans will keep on working 24 hours a day. Okay, so how hard should it be working? On average, 4 to 8 hours in a day. Very simple, right? However, I wouldn't mind betting some of your cellar coolings, certainly your condensers outside, are working much harder. 12, 14, 16 hours a day. Why? Why is this a problem? Well, very simple. 2 to 4 hours a day, 4 to 8 hours a day, it'll probably cost you 20 or 30 pounds a month to run this room at 12 degrees. However, if it is running 14, 16, 18 hours in a day, then it's no longer costing you 20 or 30 pounds, it is now costing you 200 or 300 pounds a month to run this room at 12 degrees. And that might well be simply because you've got gaps in the doors, or your team in your pub is not shutting the cellar door correctly, or the fact there is gate gaps. So just check your environment. Have you got gaps between doors and floors? Have you got holes in the walls? Could you block them up? Could you make your cellar a bit more sealed as an environment? What I'm now talking about is saving you huge amounts of money. But also, far, far more importantly, is we've now got our part of the equation, the temperature and pressure relationship, right, because we've got our product here now at 12 degrees. Now the machine might tell you it's 12 degrees here, but actually I want you to test the kegs or the cask, because that's the way you'll be sure you know what the beer or the actual liquid is temperature is. Okay, so even if it says 12 degrees, do check. Now the point about the cellar cooling, very quickly, right, is they do collect dust at the back. So as you see, I've switched this one off. Once it's off, what you can do is you can get in the back and dust it down. Just make sure you dust it down, right, when it's switched off. If you have it switched on, it'll just suck dust further into it. So make sure there's a good volume of air coming through here. But the other thing I'd like you to do is listen to the box outside, the condenser. Because what the condenser is doing is, as any air conditioning system works, is the liquid is allowed to evaporate in the evaporator, and it's condensed or pressurized back into a liquid inside the condenser. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, though, you do need to ventilate your cellar at least 10 minutes a day, or at least a couple of hours on the delivery day once a week.